For your emoji plush project, you are going to start off with this planning worksheet. And if you don't have the worksheet, that's okay. You can just trace a circle 2 times. You don't need to do 2 drawings. This is just here in case you make a mistake on one and you can go on to the other. You don't want to do drawings on the back of the paper though, because you're going to end up tracing this. You're going to end up going over this with Sharpie and then tracing onto another paper. You'll see what I mean, but don't draw on the back. And I airdropped you guys some different emoji options that you have. So figure out which one you want to use. There's a variety of different images that I'm sending over to you. And then once you figure out the one that you want to do, you can draw it. You can also create your own emoji. It doesn't have to be one that already exists. You can absolutely make a, change to one that you've seen, or just create a completely new one. Or if you like one that already exists and you want to kind of copy that, that is okay as well. All right, so here we go with the drawing. All right, so now that I have my 2 emojis drawn, notice that anything that is supposed to be like a line on the emoji, like for example, the mouth or this winky eye, that I've drawn them actually as shapes, because you are going to be cutting those things out of paper and out of felt eventually for your project. So you want to make those lines into shapes, because you can't cut out a line, but you can cut out a shape. So now I'm going to color them in with colored pencils. I'm going to pick the one that I want to do, color it in with colored pencils, and then move on to the next step. All right, so now that I have my emoji selected, I colored it in. Now I'm ready for the next step, which is I'm actually going to take a Sharpie and I want to carefully trace the outside of all of the shapes on the face that I'm eventually going to be cutting out of felt. So I'm going to trace around the eyes, and the mouth, and the tongue. I don't have to trace around the head because I already have those things cut out for you guys. And then what you're gonna do is you are gonna take them and you're gonna separate them on a piece of paper. So now you're gonna make your pattern. So let me show you one from my last project. So this one with the stars I did previously. So I drew everything and then I traced it, and then I laid my paper over top, and look how I separated out the eyes, the mouth, and even the 2 separate parts of the mouth. So I want to separate all of these pieces so I can cut those pieces out, make them into patterns, and then trace them on my fabric. So I'm going to separate out the eyes. So that's one eye, and make sure I have enough space between that one and the other eye. And I'm gonna move my paper over again, and look how the black part of the mouth and the red part of the mouth are connected. I don't want them to be connected on this paper, so I'm gonna separate them. So there's the mouth, and then I also have the tongue. And these are my patterns, but I'm gonna write my name on here so that I know that I have all my pieces, all my things together. And remember, you guys should have an envelope from your last project. So eventually we're gonna cut these out, and when you do, they're gonna stay in your envelope so you don't lose all those little pieces. But for right now, we're done with this step. We're gonna set this aside.